big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Welcome into X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke here, Anthony Bellino. He's getting connected, so he'll be joining us just in a couple moments. And I don't know about you, Ben. I don't know if you felt this way. I felt this way. It was kind of nice that it was just the Pistons on last night.
Oh, yeah.
Because you knew they were going to lose, so you didn't have to pay attention.
Exactly.
It's like, the anxiety level was just like, all right, I'm gonna just watch a show. I'm gonna relax.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna enjoy the night.
Exactly.
So, especially after a championship game, even if you don't have a team that you like's in it, the anxiety is just there because, if it's a decent game, it's great TV, but it's. You need those palate cleanser nights every once in a while, especially to get you through to this Sunday and the Lions game. So we just need a nice few easy days because we need to be fully prepared for Sunday night. And I know last week when we had Jeremy Reisman on, and talked about potential opponents that were going to happen for the Lions. The one reason he didn't want to face the Rams is coming true. It has nothing to do with football and Kelly Stafford. And with all the stuff that was going on yesterday, it was like, yep, I do not miss this at all. So let's see, we have Anthony coming in here now. So you can see him on the screen.
Oh, Kelly. We'll get to it, but I mean, you knew it was going to happen. It was only kind of like a matter of time until it did happen, and then it did, where there would be some sort of headline where she's going to say something, and then Matthew said something, and there we go. And it was only a matter of time before it happened. I'm surprised it took until Wednesday morning for us to get the topic, but here we are.
I just love how it's Matthew's being a class act about this. It's like, yeah, because he has to answer to your mouth all the time going off. So he knows not to open his because he already has to keep answering for one of you.
I just don't understand how, why every single time with Kelly Stafford, he's the one that's got to cash the check. He's the one that's getting chased around out there. He's the one that bought you the $7 million house. He's the one doing all the work. Of course he's got to be a class act. He's the one that's out there. You're not doing anything but going to a sporting event.
He might have had to gone back to school to learn PR crisis management for every time you do a podcast.
And there is something about that she said that we're going to get into that I could not believe came out of her mouth. I couldn't believe that she actually said that. And it was something in regards to the first reaction from Matthew Stafford when he found out. So we'll get more into this coming up at 6:35 this morning. And obviously, it's taken over the internet because it's Twitter, people. That's what it is. It's a great content provider because people are arguing about everything all the time, and there's nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. I mean, you gave the general public a free forum on the internet for open debate and discussion. Of course, it's going to be absolute chaos.
Well, debate and discussion that's really stretching those words to the maximum of what happens on these websites. In the very most simple sense, yes, but if is it really debate and discussion?
No, it is altercation and arguing.
Yeah.
Who's having a worse day though? Because if you're Matthew and you hear that, you're like, oh God, here we go, right? What if you're a Titans fan this morning?
Oh, if you're Matthew, that was just another Tuesday.
Just a regular day at the Stafford household. Well, you don't know how hard it is to keep a house up like that, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, that's the life you signed up for. Sorry, it's so rough.
You don't know what it's like to have your butler not show up on time. It ain't easy, okay? It's not easy.
Yeah, the Titans news, Mike Vrabel, that surprised me because you thought just hey, well, look at whoever's running the team. There's conflicting views with Vrabel. Vrabel wants to, go for the playoffs, while Tennessee wants to tear everything down and rebuild. And then the response to, hey, we thought about trading him, and the most honest answer ever, it was too complicated, so we just fired him.
Yeah, I don't this is such a ready-made situation for him to go back to New England. All the stars have aligned at this point. It almost feels as if there is
There's one issue with that. They're not any good. Why would you want to go there when you can have any other job?
Yeah, because you played there and you can restore it. Like, that's why. You know that with all these coaches, that's really what it is. If he goes back to New England, a place that he played, right, so now you got more Dan Campbell, you got more D'Amico Ryans, now you got more Mike Vrabel. If he can get back to New England and go back to the place where he played and resurrect that franchise from where it's at right now.
Yeah, but there was a difference between Campbell and D'Amico Ryans because Campbell had only been an interim head coach for a little bit. D'Amico Ryans had never been a head coach. So to get in a position to where those teams were, it's like, okay, yeah, it makes sense why they went to a former team in that state. Mike Vrabel is an established, good NFL head coach. Like, you can go to a better job than the New England Patriots and having to deal with what's there.
Would you prefer, like, maybe if he were available and there was a defensive coordinator position open for a team that wore blue and silver because their D coordinator got selected to be a head coach?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a team that's in silver type, like a gray that's a scarlet that is a little frustrated with their current head coach.
Yeah, the Buckeye fans that I know, they were elated when they saw that news. They were like, confirmed Vrabel to the Buckeyes. And I was like, oh.
Let them believe it. Just for all the years that you believed before Harbaugh actually came back, that you thought Harbaugh was coming back to Michigan, let them believe it. You remember those days.
I do vividly. Like, oh man, there's rumors he might. Maybe he leaves. Maybe he comes back. Either way, we're going to come back after the Pistons blow another massive lead last night. We'll talk about it next here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA, accounting, and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
Tracy, over to you for weather.
The sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Dannon Greek yogurt, Meijer frozen steamable vegetables, and Kraft macaroni and cheese. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. The weather outside might be frightful, but the good news is that a trip to Tullymore in 2024 would be oh so delightful. Call Matt Golden and his team right now. Get it on the books, get it on the calendar, and make Tullymore Golf Resort, Canadian Lakes, Michigan, just an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Make it a staple. Make it a tradition unlike any other. Make it your version of the Masters. Why? Because it's conveniently located smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you're coming from. Why? Because they have 2 championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. They have a free shuttle service that'll take you from course A to course B, get you going. You can stay right there on the grounds. There isn't a better way to make sure that your 2024 gets off in the right direction than going to Tullymore Golf Resort. So call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Or visit TullymoreGolf.com. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. Had a late one last night in women's basketball. Very, very rare that we ever get a game time that changes from 7 o'clock on a weekday, but 8 p.m. on BTN, so Minnesota could shoot damn near 50% from 3 and beat the Wolverines. The good part about that game is that we had what they like to call chalk talk ahead of time, and so they'll bring in, fans can sign up and get in there early. You probably know what a chalk talk is, but just in case you do not. And I say a few words and then welcome the coach. Coach will come up, talk. She'll say a few words, hand it off to an assistant. They'll talk about the game. And then we all go home, or at least we all go into the game. From there, it was very nice to get some of the positive feedback from those who were on the Rose Bowl trip that went to Houston that wondered where I was at, what's going on, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And, their thoughts about the Houston trip. And I did, one person did say, and I debated this going back and forth because everybody wanted to know if I was going to make the trip Monday. And if I was going to do that, then I would have had to call Jeff Risdon and make sure that he could be in the studio Monday and Tuesday, first thing in the morning on short notice. That probably wasn't going to work. Probably wasn't a good idea. Plus, with the Lions game Sunday, it just wasn't feasible. It wasn't feasible. And it was it once in a lifetime? Absolutely, it was. And I had a couple ask me just about the trip to the Rose Bowl because they were there. And did you go to Houston? I said, no. Did you? And they said, no. Because the bus had just gotten back from Houston. Those people were walking into Chrysler Center for women's basketball last night. I'm like, you guys are dedicated. And they said, that we could only do one. It was going to be one or the other. We both went to school here. We hadn't been to the Rose Bowl. And who knows what year they graduated, in the 60s maybe the 70s. But I said, look, man, there's just a lot more history to the Rose Bowl. That's more of the nostalgic, if you were, a fan with a little bit more experience, if you're a little more seasoned, that's the trip, is the Rose Bowl. You beat Alabama, you win the Rose Bowl, that setting, all of the ties that Michigan has to that bowl game, that's the one you want to go to. If you could only do one or the other. The Houston Texans Stadium, NRG, although somebody did tell me that's the nicest NFL stadium they've ever been to, and my first response was, have you been to Las Vegas? And they said no, and I said, okay, well, let's hold our, he's like, well, I'm just saying, nicest one I've been to, it was that one. I was pretty shocked. Sight lines were good. He said he was up in the 600-700s, and it was like watching all 22 film. He said it was awesome. I said, well, that's good. That's a benefit. So that's kind of where I'm at. The Rose Bowl versus Houston and a national championship. I like the fact that you get both if you win both games. Speaking of winning games, that's something the Detroit Pistons do not do. Now their 5th consecutive loss, I believe, after they went ahead and broke their record-breaking losing streak. Someone had said it, maybe Duncan Smith on Twitter, that how hilarious would it be if they won a game only to begin a new losing streak in which they could break their own record in the same season. It does look that way. They have now lost 5 consecutive games, and without Cade Cunningham, who with a knee injury is going to be out at least a week. That's what they're saying. It's a left knee strain. The team said yesterday after the MRI He'll be reevaluated 7 to 10 days. Cade is averaging 23 points, 7 rebounds. 23 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Hurt the knee beginning of the second quarter in the 131-114 loss to the Denver Nuggets. Not good. NBA worst 3-33 record at the time going into last night. Well, you know what? Let's throw one more hash mark up in the loss column. Make it 3-34. Domantas Sabonis was an absolute terror. 37 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists, 3 steals, a plus 28. Just dominant performance. What I don't, and here's the thing, Sacramento really wasn't that far off from where Detroit was at. They really weren't. You know, and you get a guy like Domantas Sabonis, and Jalen Duren really struggled to defend him. Really did. And, you know, it's unfortunate. It's a tough lesson to learn on the fly. But Duren finished with 16 and 10 with 3 assists on 8 of 14 from the field. Jaden Ivey was 7 of 17. That's what we want to see. We want to see him play 33 minutes, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Fill it up. Doesn't shoot it great from 3, 2 for 9 last night. Maybe try to get back to the bucket. Where is Asar Thompson? 14 minutes, and 4 of which I believe were in the first half. That is not enough. Why Killian Hayes? I mean, Killian Hayes had arguably his worst quarter as a professional basketball player. And, like, that's who he is. We're 3 years into this thing. He hasn't gotten any better. I don't know. There are some people that aren't Cade believers because he doesn't have the overwhelming athleticism that you would think that a number 1 pick would have, right? We're used to a number 1 pick being able to fly like a LeBron James, for example, or a number 1 pick being so just, Luka Doncic is a good example, right? Luka Doncic is a guy, although not a number 1 pick. He's a guy that is very much like Cade Cunningham, just a supreme shooter who moves at his own pace, who could barely jump over a phone book. Like, that's Luka Doncic. You don't have to be able to fly in order to play in the NBA. It does help, but it helps when you can get to your spots that you want to get to when you want to get there. That is massive. And, you know, maybe Cade can be that guy for the Pistons. Maybe he can. At least we have Bojan. He could score. He could fill it up. 26 points for him on 10 of 14 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3. But this team, you know, once again, you got Kevin Knox out there playing 20 minutes. James Wiseman playing 24. Marcus Sasser has had some early success this season and has fallen off a cliff ever since. And where's Asar Thompson? Where's he at? Like, how do you go from starting to barely playing 14 minutes? I just do not understand that. I don't get it at all. And I thought it was really funny that yesterday, according to sources, Eric Spoelstra signed a record 8-year, $120 million deal for a coach. The 53-year-old, one of the best coaches in the league. Miami currently tied for 5th place at 21-15. That's a ton of money. 120 for 8 years is a ton of money. And for me personally, it's like, man, that's a really good opportunity now to have the best coach in the league make $15 million a season. That is awesome. Good for him. He can now be the highest paid coach in the NBA, and we can shake that title away from a guy that can't coach his way out of a paper bag right now in Monty Williams. So it's nice to see that the actual best coach in the NBA is being compensated like that and getting paid more than the absolute worst coach in the league. Sounds harsh. It's the truth. Don't be mad at me. I'm doing my job. Do yours. And this was after a 47-point opening quarter. They're up 47-29 at the end of the first. And had coughed that lead up immediately in the second, losing the second quarter 39-18. Just god-awful. God-awful. The Detroit Pistons. Whatever. They're back in action tonight at home against the San Antonio Spurs at 7 o'clock. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll help make every playoff day electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, everyone gets a no-sweat same-game parlay for every playoff game day. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Opt-in is required. One no-sweat token issued per eligible day after your opt-in. No-sweat bonus bet issued based on the amount of the losing qualifying bet. Eligibility, max reward limits, and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Now, I am shocked to find out. Shocked is a relatively, whatever kind of term, a tongue-in-cheek, if you will, that Kelly Stafford, it was only going to be a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. And a company called the D-Line, which was putting out Detroit Rams T-shirts at one point, said that there should be a jersey ban for Matthew Stafford inside Ford Field on Sunday. And somehow this has become a topic of discussion and a topic of conversation on the internet amongst the fans. Everybody wants to know what is going to happen when it comes to Matthew Stafford returning on Sunday. Here is my thought immediately once it was announced that the Lions are going to play the Rams. Matthew Stafford is no different at this point than Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes or Tua or Lamar Jackson or Jordan Love or anybody else. Like, he is quarterbacking the other team. So I have no problem if you want to boo him. I have no issue if you want to talk about a jersey ban. Don't wear a Stafford jersey inside Ford Field on Sunday. I've got no issue with that. That makes total sense. Now, for the contingent that is like, hey, Matthew did a lot for us, that I get too. I understand. Am I going to pick on people on the internet for liking Matthew Stafford? No, I don't care if they like him or not. It's not my job to police what you watch and who you like and who you root for and anything like that. But Kelly Stafford came out and in response to the jersey ban said, quote, well, this is sad because it's the completely opposite of how we feel about this city. But Matthew has always been the bigger person and will continue to be that. Praying for an incredible game with 0 injuries. That's what she had to say. I don't understand what happened. I really don't know. I have no issue with any of it. The only thing that bothers me, about this entire situation with their podcast and everything else, because now it's, on SI, Kelly Stafford has a classy message for Lions fans calling for Matthew Stafford. Dude, you wouldn't wear the jersey of Justin Fields into Ford Field for a playoff game. You wouldn't do it. So don't do it for Stafford. It doesn't mean that I boo the hell out of him. What are we doing here? Like, this is a home playoff game. The first one that has ever taken place inside this building. And you mean to tell me people are debating back and forth whether or not they're going to boo the opposing team? What are we doing here? Of course we're going to boo the opposing team. Of course we're going to boo the opposing quarterback. Of course we're going to boo everybody in sight. Sunday night is going to be pandemonium. It's going to be electric. It's going to be absolutely out of control. Out of control. And she and Hank have their podcast. And she started crying when she was asked by the podcast co-host Hank Winchester what it would be like at Ford Field as the wife of the Rams quarterback instead of the wife of the Lions quarterback. She's crying. She's emotional. Quote, the support that city gave us on some of the hardest times of our lives will be my immediate feel. I won't ever forget walking to that stadium for the first time with my 2 little daughters in my hands, coming in that tunnel, which will probably be the same tunnel I walk out with 4 of my daughters. But I think there's going to be an overwhelming feeling of just like gratitude, and it's going to suck because I'm not there to support that team that day. And it's not going to be easy because, again, I don't know a city that rallies behind people like Detroit does. I really don't. I don't know if there is one. And it's a hard place not to put all your heart into. It's going to be hard. I get it, man. In my heart, she went on to say, I'll be saying, God, I love this place, and I'm so thankful because I feel like it helped raise me, and it helped raise the man my husband is today, and it's where obviously my daughters were born. I have so much love. What are we talking about? Gentlemen. Come here. Come here. To the round table, all of us. All of us. We need to have a discussion. I would not have known this was a thing because I am not listening to anything like this. Ever. I'm never going to do it. There's nothing that is that. I do not care about these guys personally. I don't even watch / listen to Amon Ra Equinemius. I don't listen to the Kelsey brothers. I'll see snippets online, and that's cool and all. Outside of that, like, I don't do it. You might, and that's totally fine. If I'm going to listen to something, it's probably going to be like the Kelsey brothers, right? It's probably going to be like Amon Ra Equinemius. Why would we even concern ourselves with what the wife of an opposing player has to say? Why would we even entertain any of this from Kelly Stafford? Part of it is because we know what it's like because she was here, right? There are certain things that are going to take place that do not need a reaction. And this goes in all walks of life. It happens all the time. Not everything needs a reaction. Sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to learn that. Like, whatever. That's totally fine. When she was here, it's totally fine. You're the head quarterback's wife. The starting quarterback's wife. I get it. Like, you're the first lady of football in this town. Cool. Some of the other commentary, not necessary. Know your audience. We don't care how hard it is to keep your $7 million house clean. We don't have $7 million homes. We don't have 6,000 square feet plus. That's not an issue for your fan base that's trying to figure out how to afford season tickets. So, a little tone deaf, a little out of touch. And that happens, right? People begin to fall out of touch with what it's like to be a regular civilian because they run into a little bit of money. And that's fine. I'm not mad at you for that. I'm not mad at anyone for being wealthy. That doesn't matter. But you have to be in touch and know what it looks like. Right? If she was doing something with all the other wives, this is a totally normal conversation for them to have, I would imagine. They get all their kids together. They're at a family barbecue. But you're putting this out there so that people like me can read about it after someone writes a story about it. Like, yeah, the storyline is great. That's fine. The storyline is what it is. Former Lions quarterback comes back. Like, he's the quarterback of the opposing team. He should be treated no different than any other quarterback from any other opposing team. It's the playoffs. And I'm not going to tell you what to do, what to wear, anything like that. You do whatever you want. This is America. You have your own opinion. You have your own thoughts. I don't have a problem with any of that. But I'll tell you this much. If you show up to the Lions' first playoff game inside Ford Field wearing a jersey of the former quarterback of this team that never did this, I got some questions for you. I really do. I don't ever question anybody's fanhood because they could or could not go somewhere and do something, right? Because that's just preposterous. You're not that big a fan. Okay. Like, what do you got, a measuring stick? Huh? What do you got, break out like Will Ferrell in Anchorman, like, jazz flute? Like, you're just going to pull this fanhood measuring stick out of your sleeve? Like, I don't really care about that. But if you were going to do that, and I don't care how you feel about Matthew Stafford, you probably should look for a different team. I'll put it like that. There's nothing wrong with his career in Detroit. It's fine. They got to the playoffs. They never won a division, never hosted a home playoff game. 10 plus years, didn't accomplish what Goff did in 3. It's a fact. It's a fact. I don't care about the records. I don't care about the numbers. Like, you never won 12 games. This is a historic season that the Detroit Lions have completed in the regular season, tying the franchise record for most wins in a season. You've got 5 Pro Bowl selections and another 7 alternates. You've got the leading touchdown receptioner, the leading tight end in touchdown receptions as a rookie in Sam Laporta. Now, whether or not he's good to go, we'll find out. Doesn't look great, but hey, I hope that he is out there. Your quarterback, Jared Goff, finished with the second most passing yards in the entire NFL this season on 67% completions. He threw 30 touchdowns this year. 30, which is good for 4th in the league. Why would we do anything that would take away from his success? You had the 9th leading rusher in David Montgomery and the 17th leading rusher in Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs falling a few yards short of 1,000. He finished the season with 945. Monty, 1,015. Monty, 13 touchdowns on the ground. Jahmyr, 10. Like, what are we doing? You have the 3rd highest receiving wide receiver in terms of yards, 1,515 from Amon-Ra St. Brown with 10 touchdowns. The 10 touchdowns being the 4th best in the league this year. Why would we concern ourselves with anything else? Sam Laporta, 37th overall receiving, 10 touchdowns, the most for anybody at his position, and he did it as a rookie. We have done all of these great things all season long, and you mean to tell me that you are contemplating wearing a Matthew Stafford jersey? It's baffling to me. I don't know how many people need to hear this, but he's not on our team this year. Ryan is on the line. Good morning, Ryan. Welcome back.
Welcome back to me. It's a great morning.
Welcome yourself. I love it. It's a good intro.
Yeah. So this whole situation, when you start talking about Kelly Stafford, it reminded me of another situation that's happened, where someone kind of got a little more famous than they really should have, and then they leave and it kind of blows up. It reminds me of like the whole Meghan Markle, Prince Harry situation of leaving the royal family, but kind of still wanting all the things that go along with the royal family. But it's like, no, you don't get those anymore. Like, I'm sorry. Kelly. Like, you don't you're not going to get the tribute video. You're not going to get the please be nice to my husband. Like, I'm sorry, like, this is not that time or place. Especially the Rams are coming to Detroit next year. That's when you'll get your nice tribute, and, you know, everyone will pat you on the back and say, good job for showing up all those years, Kelly. Thank you for causing hell on everyone that runs their social media accounts.
The people that want a tribute video, they're out of their damn mind. They are out of their damn mind if you think that we should have a tribute video for this guy.
The only thing that will happen, I think, pregame for Matthew Stafford is that there might be a longer camera shot on him during warm-ups. Like, that'll be it. Like, here he is throwing the football, or here he is during, you know, while stretching. Like they might show him on the big screen to give fans the chance to boo him. Like, really, that's it.
Yeah, it might even be
stuff next year.
It might even be a mixed reaction. But if they beat him this year, then in that tribute video, it has to include highlights of us beating him this year in the playoffs. Like, that's where I'm at when it comes to this entire idea that there is some sort of, like, homage that we have to pay an opposing quarterback on the biggest day of our franchise's history in 30 years. There's just no way.
Part, like, where, Kelly, like, what are you not getting? Like, this is win or go home. Like, if you want to fluff and no consequences, go to preseason games.
Ryan, you don't know what it's like and how hard it is to be a wag of a pro athlete. Like, where you just don't do anything all day and never have to work. Like, you don't know what it's like to have multiple children, Ryan, and have to be there all the time.
No, wrong. I know it's like to have multiple children.
Do you have any idea what it's like to have multiple children, young children, Ryan, and to be able to manage this without having to work multiple jobs, Ryan? Do you have any idea what it's like to have a maid? It's not an easy life.
Without multiple millions of dollars.
And that's my whole thing with her, is she's talking to an audience where we have somebody sitting right here with us, folks, this morning, that has not one, not two, but 3 of his own kids, and is working multiple jobs, whose wife works full-time, who's managing his own household. That's who she's talking to. We don't feel bad for you at all with your champagne problems. We do not. Wrong group. And the fact that it almost feels like she could never figure that out highlights what's up here. And that's depending on how, if this gets clipped and goes by, who knows. But that's where I'm at. And that's where we should all be at with this. Let's step aside. Hour 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Save big on fuel with M-Perks. Earn points on your Meijer purchases in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save up to $1 off per gallon of gas at Meijer. Claim your M-Perks fuel rewards in the Meijer app and ID at the pump to save. Plus, earn points for qualifying Meijer Express purchases and look for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more. 10 cents to $1 off per gallon based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons.
Fish On, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th.
At the Suburban Collection Showplace with over 7 acres of the newest fishing tackle, fishing boats, and fishing trips. Take it from fishing pro Mark Zona.
This is the largest pure fishing show in the country.
It's the Fishing Boat Show. Buy from dealers who know how to rig them right.
Shop fishing tackle only available once a year. Seminars on 5 stages.
Meet guides and lodge owners. The Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th at the Suburban Collection Showplace.
Whoa, put that one in the box.
Huge here with a reminder that I'll be broadcasting live for the Suburban Collection Showplace in Detroit for the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit. I'll be there Friday, 3 until 6, statewide broadcast. Lomas Brown will be at the Impact Power Sports booth where you can register to win Lomas's Lions golf cart. It's this Thursday through Sunday, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. Look for the huge show in Lomas Brown. There Friday starting at 2 p.m.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine, Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar or additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Max is now on YouTube Primetime. Enjoy award-winning series, movies, and HBO originals. Get more of your favorites with AMC Plus, Paramount Plus, and more. Subscribe to Max and other channels on YouTube Primetime.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
You know, it gets even worse the more I scroll on this story. Here's a headline for you from the Freep. Classy Lions fans will applaud Stafford. Dude deserves it as they root against him and for the Lions. What? What? And she went on to talk about how, you know, Matthew Stafford, as they're watching the Dallas game, and he's like, holy bleep, it happened again with the Decker reporting eligible thing. They know. We all know. We all know. You got to beat the refs, too. You know, and it would take a lot for me to believe that L.A. isn't going to get some favorable calls. So this got to be a madhouse on Sunday night. I would imagine that the crowd is going to be ruckus. It's an 8 o'clock game. You know, I would have preferred 1 o'clock. I think 1 o'clock somewhere on a Sunday would have been great against Matthew Stafford. Plus, I like the routine. Plus, it's earlier for a West Coast team. We didn't get any of that, so 8 o'clock it is. Prime time, under the lights, super wild card weekend. Oh, it's going to be electric. It's going to be a scene. Sunday is going to be something like we have never seen before inside Ford Field because, well, guess what? We've never seen this before. So it's going to be, you know, it's been loud. I would expect Sunday to be, if we just got to get out to a hot start. A defensive stop, you know, a possession early with some points, field goal, touchdown, doesn't matter to me. You know, let's look good doing it, and let's go out there and do the damn thing. Like, really, that's what I think this whole thing comes down to. And for me, that's what I'm looking forward to. Like, I am looking forward to the opportunity to dispatch and send Matthew Stafford back to L.A. one and done in the playoffs. Guy got his Super Bowl. He got what he wanted. That's fine. This one's for Brad Holmes. This one's for every player that came over via that trade. This one is for Jared Goff. He is now our quarterback. And I had no problem defending Matthew Stafford while he was here. I had no problem with him winning a Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Zero. I have no problem with any of that. Good for him. I could have a sense of empathy. That's not a problem for me. That what's a problem for me is that people act like we owe him something. Well, we don't. You don't owe him anything. It doesn't make you classy or not classy to root for your team and not for the quarterback of the other team. Let's just make that clear. And there's no debate about that at all. There's no debate. What makes you classy is not throwing F-bombs in the stadium. What makes you classy isn't, acting reckless and getting in a fist fight at a stadium. That's what makes you classy. Not whether or not you're cheering for your team or booing the opposition. That has nothing to do with class. I hate, it's first class. Oh, they're so classy. Oh, it's Kelly Stafford, classy. Oh, my daughter's the tunnel. Oh, shut up. No, we're not listening to this. We don't care about this. You didn't get it done while you were here. We should have a tribute video. For what? 0 divisions? 0 playoff wins? You want a tribute video? You're nuts. You're nuts. I can't believe the fans would act like that. Because you don't know fans. That's why. I don't understand what's so hard to understand. You're not welcome here anymore. Period. You're just another team. You're another quarterback on another team. That's what it is. You're no different than any other starting quarterback in the league. You just play for the Rams, and that's our first round opponent. If Jalen Hurts walks in here, are we going to make a tribute video for Jalen Hurts? Well, Jalen Hurts didn't play for the Lions. Matthew Stafford doesn't play for us either. Well, what about the history? What about it? What about it? When he's retired and comes back, then we can do it. It can be fine. Now is not the time nor the place. Know your audience. We need to be cheering for this guy. This is ridiculous. And I knew it was going to happen, but luckily for me, we had Michigan football on Monday, and we got to talk about the Lions' victory over the Vikings. And then we got to talk about Michigan's victory yesterday. But I knew it was coming. There was no way. This is way too juicy of a story for the morning after. Eye roll. The biggest eye roll, too. Like, sorry. You know, we should have Brittany Mahomes and Kelly Stafford should do a podcast together. With Jackson Mahomes, too. Get the brother in there. That's what this is to me. People actually listen to this. And that's fine. Like, I know that you're not. If you're in the car right now and you're listening to this program here, you want a program about ball. I get it. I understand that. You want a program that talks about what actually happens and isn't about, you know, who we're going to fire and who's going to get hired. And this is what actually happened last night. Let's talk about it. This isn't the four-letter network where we're just going to talk about LeBron James all day. It's not going to happen. Not here. This is not the time nor the place. So I wouldn't expect you to listen to this podcast, and I wouldn't listen to it. And I'm not going to listen to it. She could be completely misquoted here, and I don't even, doesn't bother me. I do not care because I'm not listening to it. It's not going to happen. Never. Do not. Know your audience. We know our audience. She should know hers. And if you want to have some nostalgic, like, throwback, like, all the memories, that's totally fine. If she wants to have it as a WAG, if you want to have it as a fan, WAG stands for wives and girlfriends. And so if you want to do that, that's totally cool. Good for you. Like, I have no problem. You want to, relive your glory days. Good. Awesome. I have no desire to do that. There were no glories in those days. There was just a lot of pain and sadness. There were no banners in those days, lest I remind you. There were no playoff games at home in those days. So it's not all for naught. He's a really good quarterback in Lions history, the best quarterback we ever had in Lions history, and that's great. And guess what? Newsflash, he wanted out. He wanted out. And he wanted to go to L.A., and he and Sean McVay were drinking Mai Tais in the beach in Mexico. He wanted out. He left you for greener pastures. And good for them for figuring it out. You know, Puka Nacua, good season. Cooper Kupp, kind of a problem. Kyron Williams, that's an issue. We've got our hands full. It's the playoffs. Everybody's got their hands full. This is a one-game eliminator. There is no Monday. Like, it's Sunday night, and that's it. And if you win, you can exhale for about 12 minutes and then get worried about the following week. That's the playoffs. This is no 7-game series. This is it. I just went through this with the Wolverines. It's nerve-wracking. It is. Sometimes I don't know how the guys go out there and play. Like, did you throw up beforehand? And I'm pretty much like, as the most fair and honest and non-biased host in America, I'm pretty detached. Like, win, lose, or draw, it all pays the same. I understand this. I want my clubs to do well. I want them to do well for our fans. I want them to do well for the show. I want them to do well. More games, more paydays, baby. But I want them to do well because they're my childhood teams. This is the playoffs. There is no tomorrow. Back with more X's and Bros, because there's a tomorrow here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office. Their world headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state, and they have locations all around the world. They have over 550 motivated accounting professionals, 90 years in business, and I mentioned the 10 offices worldwide. So if you want to connect and partner with one of the top CPA, accounting, and business firms in the world, they're right here in Michigan. Dorn Mayhew's Troy office on the east side of the state, and Josh Garvey is a managing shareholder for their Dorn Mayhew GR office. Right there by the S-curve, you'll see the new Dorn Mayhew sign. You can find out more. Just Google Dorn Mayhew. That's DOERENMAYHEW or Dorn.com. They're one of America's and the world's top CPA accounting and business firms. They're Dorn Mayhew.
Tracy, over to you for weather.
The sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Dan and Greek yogurt, Meijer frozen steamable vegetables, and Kraft macaroni and cheese. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Make Tullymore Golf Resort your 2024 destination for your group trip with the guys. Tullymore Golf Resort, located in Canadian Lakes, just an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It is up north golf without the drive. Conveniently located in the middle of the state, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. So what you need to do is visit TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com. You can stay right there on the grounds and enjoy making Tullymore your golfing tradition, and do that this year right away. Just get in there, get it on the books, and let's get to going. I got a text here. Just have a replay of Stafford's fake spike versus Dallas. There's your tribute. How about no tributes? How about we just pick him up and throw him 14 feet through the turf? How about that? How about we treat him like any other quarterback that would be there? So that's where I'm at on the whole Matthew Stafford thing. Now, I wanted to shift gears real quick and hop into this because there was a lot of debate yesterday about this. And here's the deal. The way that this country works, you are allowed to like Matthew Stafford. You can want a jersey tribute and you put him in the Ring of Honor during the playoff game. You're allowed to think that. You are. You are human. You have your own set of emotions and opinions. You have your own thoughts, your own religion. I can respect that. But as I have to respect your words, thoughts, opinions, as you present them, if you keep them all to yourself, then we don't have to worry about it. You have to respect mine. We have this sort of like disconnect, and it's starting to dissipate a little bit, thank God. But for a while there, it was like everybody is swimming upstream, and the first person to ask anything, well, wait a minute now, immediately condemned. Immediately. We call it cancel culture, air quotes. I, for one, was happy, and I tuned in to Pat McAfee yesterday specifically to listen to Aaron Rodgers. Some people don't like him. That's fine. I don't really care about Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you. But I was very interested to hear how he was going to approach the response to what Jimmy Kimmel had to say about his, threats online, about suing him, about the Epstein Island manifest and, logs and whatever the case. What I thought was going to happen was going to be like a list was going to come out, like a scroll. It was just going to have people's names on it. I didn't know that this is going to be an ongoing, that this list is from one person's claim in 2015. I thought this was like the master list we were getting here. We're not. We're getting like a gigabyte, and there's like a terabyte of information. So I'm interested in it. I absolutely am. I think you should be interested in it. I think that any time that there is corruption, that's worth talking about. And not just when it's one side that has corruption. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. I think that all things should be held equal. I think that they should be held accountable. I think it should be discussed. I know a lot of people don't want to. This is a sports show. ESPN's lost it. Pat McAfee's on. Pat McAfee doesn't need ESPN. Newsflash. They hired him. They went out and found him. They called him. He didn't call them. He didn't apply for that job. They called him. That's a pretty good position to be in. He had his platform regardless. They wanted to hitch their wagon to it. Okay. And now, Pat McAfee's been pretty outspoken. Here's the deal. When he went and dragged one of their executives who allegedly has been trying to ruin the show, it doesn't matter. ESPN can't do anything to Pat McAfee. And people are like, he's got to have, Pat McAfee needs to be suspended because he's got a guest on spreading misinformation. What is the quote-unquote misinformation that's being spread? What is it? Tell me, please. Is it him questioning vitamin D? Aaron Rodgers has questions about vitamin D. So do I. Aaron Rodgers has questions about vitamin C. So do I. Aaron Rodgers wants to know why we shut down the economy and killed small businesses. So do I. Aaron Rodgers wants to know why we're writing PPP loans and sending them out wherever without vetting the actual business first. So do I. Those are all common sense questions. It doesn't make you some anti-anything. It doesn't make you anything outside of somebody trying to use both sides of their brain saying, wait a minute now. How many new millionaires were created because of this? Who's getting paid from this? Why are people profiting off of this? Is nobody asking these questions? Why is every news station saying the same line? If you're not safe, we're not safe, or if we're not safe, we're all not safe. Like what? You're mandating this? Interesting. Can we talk about it? No, you can't say a word about it, because if you talk about it, that means you're anti everything and you must be put to death. They must cancel you. Like that. This isn't North Korea. All right. So if you want to push, you got to have 6 masks on and go to the grocery store with a bubble over your head in a wetsuit. Like that, you're allowed to do it. This is America. But if somebody says, you look kind of ridiculous, why are you doing that? You have to, that's part of it. It's a two-way street. You don't have to like it. No one's forcing you to do that. You don't have to like it. You have to like Kim Jong-un. You have to. I would advise you to probably like Vladimir Putin if you live there. You don't have to, but I'm advising you strongly before something bad happens to you. But let's not act like that doesn't happen here as well. Like, that's crazy. Guy's house blew up in Virginia not too long ago. Oh, well, it was a conspiracy. Like, okay, well, all right. Yep. Just throw that label on it, and then you're automatically canceled. So I thought A-Rod's response was great. I thought it was sensational. And for all the people pushing back, like, this is a sports show, and what happened to stick to sports crowd? Now, dude, you've been forcing us to not stick to sports for a few years now. And now that there's a different show that has some different questions, now all of a sudden it's a problem for you. Like, that's what freedom of speech is. You don't have to like it, but you have the freedom to do so. Some of the names that Aaron Rodgers has been called is kind of crazy. You can't call the guy anti-Semitic because he has questions. I have questions too. I just haven't said any of them because I know what the response is going to be. Because you can't ask legitimate questions without people getting outrageously insane about it, losing their minds, and trying to cancel you. I've talked about Putin and Ukraine and our proxy war there. I haven't touched anything going on in Israel because I know what the outcome is of that. In this country, that's a death sentence. That's what that is. It is. And look, on the other side of that, you people that are blocking 94, I understand that you're protesting, you're up in arms, and you want to free everybody. That's awesome. You still pay federal tax, which means you're still funding the same military that's funding that other country that you're fighting against. So you're paying for it. In case you are unaware, I want you to know that. Like, you are responsible for it. So you can march everywhere you want and do whatever you want. I'm cool with it, but as long as you're a citizen here and paying federal tax here, that's what happens. Stop blocking the roads. We got stuff to do here. I understand it's a cause that's important to you. There's a lot of causes that are important to a lot of people, but you can't be like, hey, love my sport guy. Not everybody watches it. I like hockey. I love hockey. Hockey's a great sport. I can't force people to watch it. Same way I can't force people to watch the NBA. I like the NBA. But I'm not going to, we'll talk about it, but I can't force you to watch it. Right? You're free to watch and do and like and listen and say whatever you'd like to within the confines of the law. Right? Well, that's dangerous speech. Okay, that's censorship. That's a problem. That's a problem. So that's what I love the Aaron Rodgers response. Good. Ask questions. There's no problem with that. When I was a kid going to Catholic school as just a young pup, one of the priests came in and was talking to our class. He's like, it's okay to ask questions. And I was like, man, that's really interesting. I have a question, right? Like, it's okay to ask questions. We're going to be here for an hour anyways. We might as well talk about something. Let's learn a little bit while we're here. It's not like we can, anybody got any questions? When somebody says that, keep your hands down. Let's get the hell out of here. But if it's the opening statement, it's like, yeah, you're fine to ask questions. Well, then let's talk about it. If we're trying to get out of a meeting, don't be that person, raise your hand. Email on the side. Get the hell out of there. We got to get the hell out of here. Kyle Barlow joins us next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Hi, it's New Jeans. Check out our new song Cool With You on the Pop Certified playlist right here on YouTube.
in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. You know, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Plus, everyone gets a no-sweat same-game parlay for every playoff game day. App right now, use the promo code HUGE. New customers bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Opt-in is required. One no-sweat token issued per eligible day after opt-in. No-sweat bonus bet issued based on the amount of the losing qualifying bet. Eligibility, max rewards, limits, and deposit restrictions to apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. That's Ben and Ryan. I'm Anthony. Join us on the horn right now. He did his GA years under John Beilein at the University of Michigan, a Concordia alum who now patrols the sidelines for Ohio University. Our friend, the coach, Kyle Barlow. Find him on Twitter at Kyle Barlow 4. Send your kids recruiting tapes there. Coach Barlow had some news. I asked him on the show if he had any news for us. He kind of was like, and I was like, was I not supposed to say anything? Congratulations, Coach Barlow, adding another Barlow buddy to the family. Yes, exciting.
Sir.
Number 2 is here, folks.
Number 2, and just in time to see the Lions clinch the NFC North and for the Michigan to win the national championship, man. So all he knows is winning at this point. We're going to keep it that way, man.
So this is the second coming then. He is the one.
All I'm saying. Yep. My firstborn's never seen Michigan lose to Ohio State, and Winston has never seen our second Sonny has come into this world in a great time for Michigan sports. So we'll keep the celebration going, man.
Man, so all right, so what we have to do now is get the Pistons back on track. So tell the wife one more has got to be in the mix to get them figured out. Just saying, I mean, every time there's a Barlow buddy that comes out, good things happen. So I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. What a night it was. So baby comes, Friday? And then what was your weekend like?
So we had a game Saturday. So we were, I was able to go for literally 2 hours, got there right before tip, left right afterwards. And, and just a whirlwind, man. Anybody who's had a kid would know it's just the greatest thing ever, but it's a whirlwind. And, trying to balance work and basketball and all that stuff, it's challenging, but wouldn't want it any other way, man. And we have both our kids in January, right during the middle of basketball season. If we could plan better, we would have. Trust me, because it would. It's a lot going on, but wouldn't want it any other way, man.
Yeah, that's great. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'll save that for another day, probably. Did you stay up and watch the March Madness, right? Did you stay up and watch the national championship game on Monday?
Absolutely. Had to, man. I mean, are we just going to keep the celebration going the whole week? I think we should, man. I think we should. This should be a week of celebration leading into the Lions playing. Like, what a game, man. What an absolutely, just putting your stamp on a season, on a sport when you and me 3 years ago, even 2 years ago, as soon as 2 years ago, we're talking about college football. Like, we don't like watching it. It's a bad product. It's only 4 teams. It's the same 4 or 5 teams who rotate through the Final Four in the playoffs. Like, it's not fun to watch. And then now you look at it, you do have Bama in your college football playoff. You have, Washington and Texas, 2 new teams, and Michigan for the 3rd straight time trying to get over the hump. And if you're Michigan, you and me talked about it when you got the draw, when, Florida State wasn't here. You didn't want anybody else but Bama, in my opinion. You wanted Bama. You needed Bama. You needed that stamp of approval. Like, this wasn't going to be no fake championship. This wasn't going to be a lot of people are talking asterisk for a lot of reasons. This wasn't going to be an asterisk. You had to beat the best to be the best. And not only did you beat the best in Bama, the second most talented team, according to all these 247 composite rankings and all that, second most talented team of all time, which I'm tired of hearing about. look the guy in the eye across from you and win your battle. I don't care how many stars he has next to his name, right? But you beat them, and then you beat probably the best quarterback in the country. After the Texas game, you got a lot of people saying, well, maybe he was a Heisman winner. Maybe we voted too soon. You had that whole thing going, and you just shut that down with an NFL-style defense from Jesse Minter and Michigan, man. So I couldn't be happier watching. I know, you couldn't be happier watching. Michigan fans probably couldn't be happier watching. More proud of the team doing it the right way on the field, just beating the brakes off teams, man. Honestly, with physical domination up front. Can't say enough about it, man. And I'm not even a football coach. I don't even know that much about football, but I do know that.
And we talked about this yesterday. It is very interesting in this world of the current landscape of college football, right? It's 7-on-7s, and it's 5 stars, and it's the graphics guy putting it out, Hayes Fawcett, and it's the it's the transfer portal, and it's Mercedes-Benz on the football field, and NIL deals, and it's all this other stuff. And here comes Michigan doing it in the most fundamental way possible. We'll take guys that are 3 and 4 stars. They don't have to be 5 stars. We'll coach them up, and we'll win on the basic fundamental principles of blocking and tackling. And we'll hold every single opponent for the first time in 120 years that this has happened. Every single opponent, all 15 of them, were held to under 25 points this season. Pretty incredible, and I think it speaks to volumes that you can still win the way that we've always won, which is based on the fundamental principles of whatever sport.
Yeah, so somewhere Bo Schembechler is smiling, right? It can be done. And for Jim Harbaugh to come back and kind of fulfill the destiny, right? Like, wasn't that what we all wanted 9 years ago when he came back? This is the guy that was going to get us over the hump. He was going to take on the big bad SEC, the might. He was going to do these satellite camps. He didn't care what anybody thought. All that stuff kind of slowed down, especially after, the drubbings of Ohio State, the Don Brown stealing of the sign so we could just run crossing routes the entire game when we knew they're in man-to-man. Like, all that stuff, it kind of changed at that point, and it kind of just hunkered down into, you know what, this is who we are. This is what we do. Try and stop us. We're going to do it better than anybody. Like, against in all sports, like you said, across the whole spectrum of sports, it really boils down to that. Like, can you do it? And, you hear Coach Izzo talk about the other day going on the rant, about analytics. He's like, there's something about looking the other guy in the eye, looking a guy in the eye and getting the job done and getting a rebound. I don't care what the analytics say and all that. And, he took a lot of heat for that, but I tend to agree with him. And that's kind of how, Jim Harbaugh coaches football. It's kind of how Michigan plays football, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. Like, the analytics, oh God, data can be useful when used properly, right? And yep. I feel like a lot of times we're looking for a way to quantify something or to explain something, because I do it all the time. Like, I'll get on whatever website and I'll go through like stats and I'm like, how do I explain what is happening here, right? And at the end of the day, yep. Like, you don't need any fancy numbers and true shooting percentage to tell you that Killian Hayes ain't an NBA guy. Like, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just watch it, right? And I like the fact that, analytics this, analytics that, line up and block somebody out. Like, line up and block the guy in front of you. Like, line up and do your job, for the love of God, because no computer can ever measure heart. Like, that was the old Nike commercial during the BCS when they put together the formula. If you remember that commercial where the game was being played in the rain and the mud and it was dark out, and they were going through all the different, like, metrics and how you come up with your BCS ranking. And the whole idea behind that ad campaign was that those numbers can't measure what's inside. And I think that when the bell rang, Michigan answered the bell every single week. No matter what the test was, no matter who was across from them, they lined up to say, all right, Penn State, second half, we can't really block anybody coming off the right end, so we're just going to run to the left side. We're going to do it consistently 30-plus times in the second half. Like, we'll beat you however it takes for this individual game. We will beat you that way.
It was truly amazing. I want to play a little game, and I know that this is going to be hard. More valuable, Sharon Moore or Jesse Minter?
Oh, man. Jesse Minter. Jesse Minter.
I agree, and here's why. You look at 2021, you're coming off of the breakthrough year for Michigan, and Jim Harbaugh's entertaining the NFL. And who is our OC? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Josh Gaddis.
Josh Gaddis gets mad because Michigan wouldn't tell him that he was going to be the head coach if Jim Harbaugh left, so he leaves. What has Josh Gaddis done since? So I love Sherrone Moore. I think he's going to be a great head coach. He could be the next head coach at Michigan, and I would be very happy with it. But is that more Jim Harbaugh's footprint on this entire offense, or is it the OC? And then you look at the other side of the ball. It really changed when Dr. Blitz left, and then we went to the Ravens coaching tree, right? And and I was reading a couple articles where an NFL coordinator was quoted. You know how the Athletic always does, was granted anonymity so they could speak freely. Like, I'm starting to get annoyed with that. I kind of want to know who it is, but anyway.
You're just now starting to get annoyed with that. Put your name on it, you coward.
The one NFL coordinator said, "You watch that game." I watched the All 22. And Jesse Minter was running a scheme that you can only run with the guys who are from Michigan, 4th year, 5th year, even 6th-year guys who are so smart. He's like, it was an NFL scheme. You're disguising blitzes. You're disguising coverages in ways that Michael Penix has not seen before. And with the transfer portal era, with, you getting 1 to 2 years out of a kid, might be a 5th-year senior, but he's only been there a year. With, the 5 stars, you look at Alabama, they have 2 5-star, probably they call them the best secondary, best corners in the country. I think Will Moore or Will Johnson would have something to say about that, but they were both sophomores. And then they had a safety at freshman. You look at Michigan's veteran defense, the way you were able to do that was with continuity, with having guys who have been in your system for 2, 3, 4, even 5 years, and then it ultimately paying off. Everybody said, "Oh, Michael Penix was off that game." Yeah, he had 1 or 2 bad throws that he usually makes, but he also had no idea what was going on, and because of the disguised coverages, look at Will Johnson's pick to start the second half. What did he quadruple clutch that ball before he threw it? He had no idea what coverage they were in and ended up throwing it for a pick for Will Johnson. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. It seems like the defense right now, especially with the stat that you just said, which that stat holding everybody under 25, first one in 100 years, that stat has a lot to do with the other side of the ball, too. How do you beat Peyton Manning in his prime? You keep Peyton off the field, man. You run the dang football. You control the time of possession. Michigan dominated the rushing, but it wasn't how people thought, where it was going to be death by a million paper cuts. They just gashed them for big, long runs in the first half, which kind of actually helped Washington. So instead of being up 17-3 at half, it was 17-10, because normally Michigan would just Novocaine you, right? Just slowly numb you to the point where you couldn't do it anymore. And by the fourth quarter, we saw that. Saw that with Alabama in the fourth quarter at overtime, and then saw it with Washington, where it's like, okay, now you're going to have to stop us. We'll take 5, 4, 5, 6 yards to carry, man. But I agree with Jesse Minter to circle it all back.
Yeah, no, I think that he was sensational. I don't know, was it Ryan Clark of ESPN was talking about what you were talking about as well from a defensive perspective, the job that Jesse Minter had done. And the other thing is, Michael Penix is going to clutch that football when his ankle is getting just absolutely destroyed by an offensive lineman, because Michigan able to bring the pressure with 4. And when they could get to Jalen Milroe with ease, I really thought, if you're gonna throw around Alabama's offensive line, you're gonna dominate Washington's. Like Washington, I've been saying all year, Pac-12 doesn't play defense. They're like the new version of the Big 12. You're seeing games at 50, 40, high 30s every single week. No one's stopping anybody. John Wagner wanted to argue with me about that. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. 443 yards of offense in that national championship game for Michigan, and it was all about the ground, right? It was all about our defensive line is going to beat your offensive line, and our offensive line is going to handle business. And I was really happy for a guy like Donovan Edwards. Will you use Donovan Edwards as an example when you talk to your team at all this week?
100%. Before the game, I sent his quotes going after the national champ, or going after the Rose Bowl, because people asked him, when Blake Corum came back and you said, we're thunder and lightning, we're the best two back, we're going to have the best room in the country. And it really didn't pan out that way. Like, anybody who watched all year would know that it was, I don't want to say disappointment, but he just never found his groove, like coming off of that Ohio State game and that Iowa game last year. And then to do what he did. So leading up to this game, he had a lot of quotes when people are asking him if he thought this year isn't going the way it was. And he's like, man, if you look at me, I am the first guy out on a touchdown to celebrate Blake Corum and my teammates. I am the first guy to do this. I always have a smile on my face. You know, seeing a therapist was big for me this entire year and really helped me and helped change my mentality. And then, like, having that come to fruition after saying that, because a lot of young men think it's a weakness to talk to somebody or see a therapist. But after seeing that, and then the way he did it on the national championship game, the way he just ripped and run, like, come on, man, are you serious? Like, those are things that pay off, and those are things you love to see, who kids go out and really succeed after struggling, but after getting the help and doing things the right way by being a great teammate, not just canceling and just the transfer portal, hitting the portal, they didn't use me right. Because, you know, there's a lot of teams in the country who are tampering with that kid, saying Michigan does not use you right. Blake Corum, that's not your game. We will put you in an offense that will suit your game. And he said, just shut out all the noise, man. So a great example in this era of those who stay, right? What does Michigan always say? But guys who are willing to look themselves in the mirror, you know, not have expectations lived up to, so they get help because they need it, because it had to be a dark place when you're a high-achieving 5-star athlete, and then to come out and actually do it just shows the payoff, man, and it shows how doing things the right way still can pay off in this day and age.
And I love Greg Harden. He got some TV time during the national championship game where he's walking over talking to J.J. McCarthy. He is an integral part of that Michigan athletic department, has been for a very long time. Obviously, you know Greg Kyle from your time at the University of Michigan. And, man, I mean, there's something about his aura. When he is around, he is good for everybody. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. It's the way that he greets you. It's the look in his eyes. It's his smile. It's his voice. It's his tone of voice where – you know, there's been times during the season he will stop by and say something to me pregame, and it gives you all the confidence in the world. The guy's incredible.
100%. He's the secret weapon. He really is. And when you have those interactions, and that's about all I had with him as well. Like, we knew who each other were. We talked for a minute or two. But imagine talking to him for a half hour a week. And how much better off you'd be, you know? And I know our guys at Michigan, when I was there, you're talking most of the starting lineup, you know, everybody who really played significantly and guys off the bench all talked to him consistently. And the feedback that I got from them, it was unbelievable. I'm like, what do they talk about? Because whatever it is, they got their minds right, not only in competition and how to succeed with pressures and dealing with injuries or coaches or, you know, playing time and all that. Not only that, but how much, like, better head they have for their life and how they view life with him. And, you know, he really is the secret weapon, man. I know he's gotten some flowers, but he probably needs more, man, because he really is the secret weapon for that athletic department.
Yeah, no, I mean, the guy is he walks around. There's a presence about him that is special, and I'm glad he got some TV time. I'm glad we got you some radio time, Coach Barlow, father of two. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to your wife, and man, it's just sensational stuff. Have a great week, partner.
Yes, sir. You too.
Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Save big on fuel with M Perks. Earn points on your Meijer purchases in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save up to $1 off per gallon of gas at Meijer. Claim your M Perks fuel rewards in the Meijer app and ID at the pump to save. Plus, earn points for qualifying Meijer Express purchases and look for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more. 10 cents to $1 off per gallon based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons.
Fish On, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th.
At the Suburban Collection Showplace with over 7 acres of the newest fishing tackle, fishing boats, and fishing trips. Take it from fishing pro Mark Zona.
This is the largest pure fishing show in the country.
It's the Fishing Boat Show. Buy from dealers who know how to rig them right.
Shop fishing tackle only available once a year. Seminars on 5 stages.
Meet guides and lodge owners. The Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th at the Suburban Collection Showplace.
Whoa, put that one in the box.
Huge here with a reminder that I'll be broadcasting live for the Suburban Collection Showplace in Detroit for the Ultimate Fishing Show. Detroit, I'll be there Friday, 3 until 6. Statewide broadcast. Lomas Brown will be at the Impact Power Sports booth where you can register to win Lomas's Lions golf cart. It's this Thursday through Sunday, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. Look for the huge show in Lomas Brown. There Friday starting at 2 p.m.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here. AB's doing a heck of a job, and I'm ready to drop some huge opinions about what he's talking about later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass.
And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole.
Here's the give.
Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty.
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up.
Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. That's Ben Glazer, Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you to join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Or you can join us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. Real quick, number 1 and number 2 in college basketball both lost last night. Nebraska beat number 1 Purdue 88-72, and undefeated Houston takes their first loss of the season. They lost at Iowa State. Hilton Magic is what they call it there, 57-53. Let's get to that Meyer Supercenter guest line. That's where we find Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
That's all news we did not need to hear. That's for sure.
You didn't need to know that both number 1 and number 2 in college basketball lost on the same night last night, including Houston that was undefeated.
No, the only thing I need to know is college football is all over this year. That's all that matters. Who cares about college basketball? They stink. How's Michigan doing this year? How's Michigan State doing this year? Who cares?
So college basketball stinks because Michigan and Michigan State aren't having great years?
Listen, Xavier's going to win it all this year. I'll tell you that right now. They're going to win it all this year. So, how are you, AB?
I was okay until that comment.
You don't think Xavier's got a chance?
No. Xavier's no different than Michigan and Michigan State. You're just saying that for Doug. I know why you're saying that. You're saying it for Dougie Fresh. Come on. I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, Freddie.
But I was actually being sincere. I'd rather see Xavier win over Michigan, that's for sure. But anyways.
How are you going to call in after the University of Michigan wins a national championship with a perfect 15-0, probably the greatest regular season in the history of the sport, holding every opponent under 25 points, and now you want to take shots at the university that's just better than everybody else? That's crazy to me.
Hey, I picked them to win it, and I will tell you, watching the game, you know what my favorite moment of that whole game was? I'll be honest with you, is when John Harbaugh came over and hugged Jim Harbaugh. Now, I didn't catch it. Was that during the game or was that before the game started?
That was actually during the game, which I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, I think John Harbaugh is the only one that can pull that off, to be honest with you, or Jack Harbaugh. But I thought that was the people that think I'm a heartless person out there, that really was my favorite moment of the game. I just absolutely loved it. And then after the game, when they had the bro hug and then he put the hat on his head, I thought the funny part was when his brother-in-law came over. If the people that don't know, his brother-in-law is the old Indiana head coach, Tom Crean, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And he just gave him a hug and just went back to talking to his brother. I thought that was kind of funny. That's probably something I would do with my brother-in-law as well, too. Like, all right, beat it. I got to talk to my brother. So I got a kick out of that. But
yeah, you're just here by association. You're not really, like, you're part of the family, but not really. So why don't you just hear it? Thanks very much. We'll see you at Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And I did wear the Indiana sweatshirt when you did play Michigan. I don't know if people remember that when Jim Harbaugh wore the Indiana sweatshirt. and he went into the locker room during the Michigan basketball game. I thought that was really funny. That was like early on in his tenure there in Michigan when he wasn't winning. I just thought that was kind of funny. But, yeah, I'm with you.
You just
that
can't
was
help
my
yourself,
favorite
can
moment.
you?
I cannot help
You
myself.
can't help yourself.
I mean,
I know. I get it. I look. I understand. When you're the best, everyone wants to take shots at you. I get it. It's
I
okay.
know-
When you're
I
the
know
champ,
I know what that
everybody
feels
wants
like.
a piece. When you are the movers and the shakers and the newsmakers in the state, everybody. I get why everybody hates it because there's a little syndrome there that comes with it. There's a little bit of a syndrome there, like what about us? What about me? What about me? And it's like, you know what? Look. You're not the firstborn, so you have to kind of carve your own way out. You have to do things your own, if that's what you're looking for. Or you could just go about your life and mind your business and handle your business if you're not the firstborn, which is kind of what I do. I get it. I understand. I know where my bread is buttered, and it's through work. That's what it is. But everybody else, they're like, well, why can't we, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a giant scandal that's going to be bottom line news. I get it. I trust me. I understand.
Hey, listen, I get it, man. I know what it feels like to be on top. Everyone's watching you. I get it. I get it every day, buddy. Every day.
You know what it's like when a pizza comes out and it just, for whatever reason, somebody's taste buds don't work that day. You understand.
Yeah, I understand how it works. I understand. But anyways,
Are you the Jim Harbaugh of pizza?
I'm the John Harbaugh of pizza. How about that? I've told you off the record, and I've told you on air. I'm a big Jim Harbaugh fan. I mean, those San Francisco teams. I grew up a San Francisco 49er fan.
Yeah, we know. You're a front runner. I get it.
He's a great coach. Honestly, he is a great coach. And I'll tell you, everyone's picking these teams for him to go to the NFL, and there's a lot of teams out there. But I tell you, watch out for the Seattle Seahawks. They might be a sleeper because I think Pete Carroll might be done there. And I'm talking about what a great situation to walk into in Seattle, Jim Harbaugh. That would be a great – and he's got his ex-running back there, Charbonneau, and the guy that beat him, Kenneth Walker. Oh, could you imagine? What a scenario there. Anyways, let me get to my question before the time runs out. So, first of all, it's great, and I'm talking about it's great to be a Detroit Lions fan right now, to see all the people on social media bashing Stafford now. He's the enemy. We don't care. Are the same fans that you couldn't say a word to when he was throwing picks in games that mattered. You couldn't say a word to him. Blah, blah, blah. You don't know football. And now they're out there saying he's the enemy. Who cares about him? I absolutely love it because you couldn't say a word to these people. There's a slaps that go spend thousands on tickets. You couldn't say a word to them, and now they're bashing them. Good. Bash them because, remember, Jim Caldwell benched Matthew Stafford. Just remember that. And they needed a win to get to win the division, and he blew it. He threw Aaron Rodgers threw a touchdown pass to St. Brown's brother on New Year's Eve. Remember that. Remember those times. I remember all the picks in the corner. Now, here's a question, Anthony. Before I tweet it out, I wanted to ask you first because I think so highly of you. You might not be able to answer the question, but if Matthew Stafford comes here and beats us on Sunday, do the Lions put him in the Ring of Honor in a few years when he retires?
I think he's going in the Ring of Honor regardless. He's the best.
Even if he beats us?
You can't hold him out. Like, what he does with L.A. has no bearing on what he does in Detroit. Like, he wasn't going into the Detroit's Ring of Honor because he won a Super Bowl in L.A. So if he beats us with the L.A. Rams, I think he's still going in, but that'll be years down the road. Years. At minimum, a decade probably after he plays.
Yeah,
at
I think
least.
they would have to win a playoff. I think they would have to win a playoff game or two before they even consider even bringing him back home to put him in the Ring of Honor. Especially, I mean, that would be brutal. So, anyways, this Sunday, who's got it better than us? Nobody. The Detroit Lions, baby. We're going to win this game. We're going to show Kelly Stafford. Listen, I loved it this morning, Anthony. Go back to your $20 million mansion. Just go back and ask the maid to dust the clothes. I'm coming home after 20 hours of work, and I got kids screaming in my ear. You got to watch Kids Bop. We're not watching the give me a break.
You don't know what it's like. You don't know what it's like to have to sweep a $7 million home. You have no idea how hard it is to try to raise kids with a butler service and a chauffeur. You have no idea of what these problems are like. All right? Yeah, it's a lot there. We're back with more X's and Bros after this Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle.
1, 2, 3, top right.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The Michigan Wolverines have done it. They've completed the undefeated 2023 regular season, capping it with the national championship as they beat second-ranked Washington 34-13 on Monday night. The Donovan Edwards, got the offense going, breaking 2 40-plus yard runs for touchdowns in the first quarter. Blake Corum added another 134 on the ground and 2 scores as well. A perfect 15-0 record. 3 consecutive Big Ten titles, 3 consecutive victories over rival Ohio State, a Rose Bowl, and a national championship, all while playing 5 of their final 6 games against top 25 opponents and holding every single opponent this season under 25 points. Mission accomplished. And for Michigan fans, Jim Harbaugh has just one question remaining. Who's got it better than us?
Tracy, over to you for weather.
The sun must be shining, Dave, because the 7 for 7 sale is back at Meijer. Mix or match hundreds of items like Dan and Greek yogurt, Meijer frozen steamable vegetables, and Kraft macaroni and cheese. Pick any 7 for just $7. There's a strong chance of saving with the same quality Meijer deals in-store or online. Back to you, Dave.
Sounds great, Tracy.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. One of the great all-time beats put together there by Kanye West. Hey, golf season came to a close, but Matt Golden and his team still ready to help you plan your 2024 stay in play at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, offering not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Smack dab in the middle of the state, easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Tullymore not only features top-line golf, but also top-line accommodations and the perfect space for a wedding event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. Great to have you with us here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke. I'm Anthony Bellino. Hey, by the way, folks, as we are back here, and the Michigan Wolverines are going to go through. This is all going to happen. But I did want to get to this tweet here because I remember when this happened, and people had a problem with me saying this. But Paul tweets into the show at PA 1914. I remember 1914. That was a tough year. I have a problem with Stafford winning a Super Bowl. He went all Matt Stafford and hit Jaquiski Tart right between the numbers in the fourth quarter that would have sealed the game for the 49ers, and he dropped it. It let him off the hook. That never happened in Detroit. I actually took the time to pull up that very play. It's 17-14. Niners have the lead. Fourth quarter, 9:54. First and 10 from the 15-yard line of the Rams. Stafford goes play action, drops back, throws it from about the 9-yard line, and threw a punt down the middle of the field. This happened, and I could not believe that this happened. Couldn't believe it. Jaquiski Tart is right there, and that ball hits him right in the face and bounces right off his chest, right onto the ground. That is one of the all-time great interception drops in the history of football. That's why they say corners aren't wide receivers. That was one of the worst passes that has ever been thrown, and look how it all worked out. Look how it all worked out. I'm surprised you needed to bring that clip up because you reference this play every other week. That's not true. I haven't talked about Jaquiski Tart in God knows how long. But it is an important factor in that Super Bowl run for Matthew Stafford. The fact that he threw a punt down the middle of the field and was wide open for an interception that would have changed the course of history. And my man, Jaquiski Tart, just went Pop-Tart, no hands, blank right off the chest. Unbelievable. I still can't get over that. Never. I mean, if that would have happened while he was wearing a Detroit uniform, that was going 6 the other direction. Jaquiski Tart. Man. And, just for the record, Freddie the Pizza Man thinks that Xavier's going to win all. Xavier's not getting in the tournament. They're 7-7 right now. And they're 1-2 in Big East Conference play. Now, the Big East is good, but I don't see Xavier getting it. I mean, Butler is 10-5. Marquette's 11-4. Providence is 11-4. Creighton's 12-4. Nova's 10-5. St. John's 11-4. UConn's 13-2. And Seton Hall's 11-5. That's it. Xavier's odd man out. They're not even gonna make the tournament. Freddie talking about they're gonna win it all. It's okay if you don't like college basketball. That's fine. Like I say, I'm not gonna try to convince you to watch anything. You watch whatever you want. I like college basketball. Ryan likes college basketball. And when number 1 and number 2 in the country both lose, that's newsworthy right there. That's newsworthy. You know what's not really newsworthy? I mean, Bruce Irvin got picked up by the Finns. Okay, cool. Is that really newsworthy? I mean, he's just with the Lions and they had to let him go. And okay, all right, whatever. Isaiah Buggs gets picked up by the Chiefs. Okay. Number 1 and number 2 losing to unranked opponents on the same day has only happened 8 times ever, according to Chief Statistician Ryan Elke here from the X's and Bros stats room. But that's not newsworthy? Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, you tell me, and I won't share the information with you. I won't share it with you. But to me, that seemed like it was pretty relevant. And that's, look, there's a lot more going on than what Jared Goff had for breakfast this morning. That seems to be news and noteworthy to me. I think maybe it would be news and noteworthy to you. Now, some other news and notes here. And this is coming from the Senior Bowl, right? Our good friends at the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl, that is. Here's the deal. 7 players from Michigan have announced that they are accepting invites to the Senior Bowl. And there might be a little bit of, as Anthony Broom put it, confusion about whether or not this is a declaration for the draft. Senior Bowl invites were accepted, yes. Official deadline to declare for the draft isn't for 5 more days. January 15th, that's the deadline day. So it's possible someone could pull back and return to the team. But if they do that, they can't play in the Senior Bowl and then decide to come back to school after. So if you go play in the Senior Bowl, that's it. You're declaring for the draft. And you got to declare by the 15th anyways. It is good that this information is out and these guys have made their decision quickly. I'm a fan of that. I like those decisions. Now, sometimes you're going to make decisions like accepting this invitation to the Senior Bowl, and you might say, I don't know. Like, for example, Georgia had a quarterback commit to him, and then a day later flipped his transfer portal commitment to USC, a kid from UNLV. That just happened. He committed to Georgia, and then the very next moment, boom, he's now going to go to USC. Sometimes we make some rash decisions and choices, and it's like, we have a little buyer's remorse. That happens. There's a reason we call it buyer's remorse. There's a word for this. Something. APH. I don't know. I'll look it up. But anyways, and for Michigan, I think that the more news that you have, the better opportunity you have. It's in a Doge. And a Doge is what I was thinking. Is it a Doge? A Dash? A Dash or a Doge? I don't know. Somebody knows. But wise sayings are observations, commonly known or repeated, right? Buyer's remorse. And a Dash, maybe. The Michigan Wolverines, coming off of their national championship, are in a better position knowing, getting geared up for who's going to be around and who's not. So the quicker everybody decides what they want to do next, the better the overall organization is moving forward to address their positions of need. Does it hurt? Of course it does. You want these guys to stay forever. That doesn't happen. We have eligibility rules. So guys are going to come and guys are going to go. But the guys that have accepted invites are wide receiver Roman Wilson, tight end A.J. Barner, offensive lineman Ladarius Henderson and Trevor Keegan, edge rusher Brady McGregor, linebacker Michael Barrett, and defensive back Mike Sainristil. They've all accepted. They're not draft declarations. They can still come back. It's possible that they could elect to return to school, and then their invite is no longer there for the Senior Bowl. If they accept the invite and play in the Senior Bowl, you cannot come back to college. I'm fine with the way that the rules are. I don't see a guy like Mike Sainristil coming back. I don't see a guy, I hope Brady McGregor does, but that's for my own personal interest, right? Trevor Keegan, I don't see him coming back. It's time. And I would love to see Mike trade in that Mason blue for Honolulu blue at the end of the first round. Oh, I would love that. Because that guy is man, I love that kid. Love that young man. So that's what we have going on right now. The sooner, the better, so you can reestablish and reorganize, knowing what you need going forward. We'll step aside, back with more X's and Bros after this. Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com. At MHSAA on Twitter and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3 on The Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs, is bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs even more electrifying. New customers can bet $5 on any game, get $200 instantly in bonus bets, plus everyone can get a no-sweat same-game parlay for every playoff game day. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only using the promo code HUGE. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Opt-in is required. One no sweat token issued per eligible day after the opt-in. No sweat bonus bet issued based on the amount of the losing qualifying bet. Eligibility, max reward limits, and deposit restrictions to apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Welcome back here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze. I'm Anthony Bellino. Great to have you with us. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 or give us a dial on the Myers Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. I did not realize, also, by the way, according to Ryan's, our chief statistician, Ryan Elke, number one and number two losing to unranked opponents on the same day has only happened 8 times ever. It's only the 3rd time in the last 40 years. Newsworthy. All right. Also, Ryan, I did not realize that it's officially open, the Tom Izzo football facility at Michigan State is open for business. They're you got to understand where people would get a rise out of that. You have to, and I know Matt Ishbia donated the money for it, and that's what he wanted it to be named. I get that. God bless Matt Ishbia. I love his idea, what he's doing in Phoenix for the Suns and for the Mercury and for the television. Like, I get it. Matt Ishbia, if you're listening, I love you. You got to understand the optics of that, though. You have to. It's no different than the optics of me in the hat that I'm wearing right now talking about it, right? It is entertaining that the team or university that is often referred to as a quote-unquote basketball school has the football facility named after the basketball coach. That's all I'm going to say. Ryan is back. Welcome back, Ryan.
Stop the cackles, all right? People may not be able to hear it on radio. I can see it all. I can see it all.
On BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network.
Yeah. And also, yeah, we're a basketball school. Did you see our football program this fall? It was non-existent. I'm surprised in that clip I sent yesterday about Michigan, where Vanderbilt takes the most ricochet shot in the world, that if you're not cheating, you're just Vanderbilt.
Oh, we got to explain that to the people, because you sent that to me, and I talk about cackling. That was a cackle worthy. So Will Warren, this comes from Brett McMurphy, and in this article, here's the quote. Look, an Alabama official told me at the Rose Bowl last week. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is stealing signs. Michigan was not the only school doing this. Kansas basketball cheats more than anyone. They didn't do anything to Kansas. The only pure thing in college athletics is Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt sucks. It's such a great all-time line. I like Vanderbilt. I got some friends that coach at Vandy.
Yeah, like
They're
that's how
trying.
Michigan State football felt this year. Hey, you're Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, look, and the
You're
facility
collecting
looks
the big
nice.
Paycheck in the big conference and not doing much with it.
The facility looks nice. It does. Your new head coach has got a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, because I feel like what's going to happen, and the pendulum does swing, right? Everything that goes around comes around. There was a time where I didn't believe Michigan was ever going to beat Ohio State, right? You don't want to get lost in the fray. I don't think that will happen to a brand like Michigan State. However, I was dealing with one person on Twitter yesterday, Rocky, not Balboa. And Rocky was trying to tell me that the 2013 team would have, should have, could have. Like, dude, what? Rocky.
Listen, and I understand some people have those types of feelings. You know when the most wrong time to share those feelings are? After your rival wins a national championship the night before. Like, to see all the Ohio State fans, the Michigan State fans crying about, like, oh, well, let's look at it like this. Oh, they did this. They cheated there. It's like, guys, you know what? You're not going to win any argument. Because guess what gets planted on the table to anything you say? That big national championship trophy U of M just hoisted up the night before.
Yeah.
I was sending you the tweets from MSU people that I found hilarious. Like, that's the way you handle your rival winning a championship, is you just have fun about how kind of bad your program has been the last couple of years. Like, just have fun with it, move on, sulk in your own way, but don't play well, we could have done this. It's like, we didn't.
Yeah, and look, I thought going into this year, especially with Michigan State's preseason ranking, that things would not be the way that they are. I thought Michigan was going to be better too. I have been run amok and led astray and bamboozled and all of that. But if Michigan State won the national championship in basketball this year, here's how you handle it. What a great year for Michigan sports. That's it. That's all you have to say.
You're not going to talk about, Michigan kind of won one because Louisville got vacated.
If Trey Burke would have played this team, you can't do that. It just
if the refs didn't call that block, if you start going on that tirade, chirping at MSU fans as one shining moment is just premiering on CBS. Like, who's going to have zero sympathy and not care at all? The people that just won.
Yeah. And if Tom Izzo does it, if they turn it on and they make the tournament and, everything works out well, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I will root for Michigan State in the NCAA tournament. There you have it. Because I'm a big fan of.
I don't take offense.
But the reason I say this is because I'm a big high tides kind of guy. And you have to remember that where I come from a collegiate perspective, where I went to school at, I was surrounded by nothing but like Cleveland and Ohio State fans. And LeBron had just put 27 straight points on the Pistons. And, Ohio State and Jim Tressel into Urban Meyer, like that was my collegiate career, is running into these people and getting bludgeoned to the point where I didn't send a single message to anybody, any of them, after the national championship game. I put my phone in my pocket, hopped in my car, drove back to my house, went to bed, woke up the next day. Thank God. That's what I did.
I sent a few texts to friends, like my close Michigan friends. I was like, hey, congrats, enjoy the win. Cool for you. Not even happy for you, but cool for you. I had one of my friends who was trying to argue with me on Twitter because I said, man, Michael Penix missed a lot of easy throws that could have kept Washington in the game. Not saying, hey, Washington would have won it. This just would have kept it a game. And he's sitting there arguing like, well, it's because of this. This is like, I'm not taking anything away from you. But if you watch that game, there was some throws that Michael Penix hit all year that he missed. And I think it would have just at least kept it a game more in the fourth quarter. That's all I said.
The early pass that he missed on third and whatever it was, the one that was, as we're watching the TV, Washington's going right to left, and he misses wide open. And I get, like, defensively, you're doing – bro, you got to hit that throw. Like, you're absolute – if he hits that throw, the complexion of the game is completely different. Like, we have no idea what happens. He missed a couple of them where it was like, you might have cost yourself some money here, young man. Like, he picked a bad day to have a really, really bad day. Like, that was not the Michael Penix of, and you can credit Michigan. You can do whatever you want. He missed a wide open throw a couple of times that it's like, bruh, what are you doing?
Right, and like Michigan's defense does get credit because they did change how Michael Penix played that game. But if you watch Washington the last 2 years, if there was an open throw, Michael Penix did not miss it for 2 straight years.
Bad day to have a bad day. I'm with you. Like in the holding call that negated a 32-yard completion and added 10 yards on the penalty, a 42-yard swing on one play. Like, I can be honest. I didn't see it. I hope that ref comes to the Lions and watches Aiden Hutchinson because, I mean, the other team will be, second and Flint every single possession. Like, if that was a hold, it might have looked like a hold in real time. That's the joy of replay and watching it 15 times. In real life, he might have said, yeah, the left arm grabbed him, pulled him down. It's a hold. I mean, we got away with one. I can admit that. I have no problem saying that. Like, thank God we got a call. Feels nice. Feels good. I love when we get calls. Let's get more of them.
Right. Thankfully, it was more than a one-score game, so, like, people aren't yelling at the officials. Like, was it the best officiated game? No. Was it the worst? No.
I like the fact that people were like, yeah, for all you folks that are just now, like, not really that familiar with the ACC, this is every single Saturday. And I'm like, yeah, you guys got a legitimate gripe here. Eric says, wait a sec.
Leading the way?
Wait a second. Wait a second. Was it the 2013 MSU team, the one that had their captain suspended for PED use? Is that correct?
Max Bulla, I believe they're referring to. That was not PEDs. That was a between the break between the Big Ten championship and the playoff up north in Traverse City. He had a Dewey. So,
look, Cherry Festival, it's a little early. I get the excitement. We love Traverse City here on this program. And if you're in the northern Michigan area, and you might perhaps be listening on 93.7 FM or 1340 AM or 104.7 FM, covering everything from Cadillac, TC, the Southern UP, Harbor Springs. We love you guys. That's one of the hidden gem, if you will, of
but also, if you're a Michigan fan trying to call another program dirty, it's like, maybe not do it in the year your coach was suspended 6 games.
All right. Everybody just simmer down. I can see the direction.
No college program can point fingers of like, well, we're cleaner. It's like, no, you're not. You're not Vanderbilt. You can't point fingers at anyone.
Yeah, we got handguns and sign stealing. That's what we've got right now. And cheeseburgers. So, I mean, get a firearm.
Point to the cheeseburger and shoot. Like,
yo, look. Here's a 500-page manifesto that you can read at lunch while toting your pistol on the table, eating a double cheeseburger with bacon, like on a Zoom call. You can do all of those things. Like that's where my club's at. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I get it. I understand. Everybody's mad. At the end of the day, line up at the line of scrimmage, win the line of scrimmage. Now, I saw the thing about Michigan State, so I wanted to bring it up, and I knew that obviously, but you could see where I would get a rise out of that. So I'm, as always, Ryan and I are, much like Justin Rose and Michael Spath do their podcast about Michigan and Michigan State. Shout out to our friends there, Michael and Justin. Ryan and I are about as civil as it gets in the rivalry that exists between Michigan and Michigan State, because we're realists, folks. We work in this. No matter if they win or lose, we still have to come to work the next day. So, like, that's really what it comes down to. Now, I had this segment blocked off for the NFL playoffs, so let's get into it real quick. We kind of ran out of time a little bit, but that was, it's fun. It's fun. We can go back and forth and, barb each other and, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, nothing really gets accomplished there. Super wild card weekend begins on Saturday. And obviously we're going to talk more about this and more about the Lions for the next couple of days. So we'll be geared up and ready to go for that. Browns Texans in Houston. Massive game. Joe Flacco. Who would have thought the Browns used 5 starting quarterbacks in one season? Incredible. Taking on the sensational 4,100 passing yard, 23 touchdown, only 5 pick performance this season by C.J. Stroud. Nico Collins, Michigan man, showed up in his varsity coat week 18. Love to see that. 1,290 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns for him. That is a sensational matchup. That's 4:30 on NBC. Then we go to the Peacock game. Roger Goodell and the NFL, you dirty little swindlers here. They took Miami and Kansas City and put that on a streaming service. And now all I can think about is my friend Bob from Waters, Michigan. And, Bob said he was going to go, watch the game on the computer and go back full screen and rewatch it. And Bob, I'm happy to talk about that game until the end of time. So anytime, next time I'm up north, I hope I get to stop by Bob's place on the way through and we can watch football together. But what the NFL did on Saturday night is they took the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins, two of the more fun offenses in the entire league, and they decided, with both of them being 11-6, think about Saturday's games: Browns, Texans, Dolphins, Chiefs, both of which carried by NBC. They took all the Swifties and said, go download Peacock.
Bing bong.
I mean, there's chess and there's checkers. And these guys, they know exactly what they're doing. That, my friends, is an all-time chess play from NBC and the NFL. They said, we're going to take the better game, one of the best games of the entire weekend. It's a streaming-only game. We are going to put that game on the stream because we are going to, one, take all of Chiefs Kingdom and all the Finns fans. We're going to put them on Peacock. And then, to top it all off, we are going to inflate our streaming numbers for our advertisers. This is genius. I hate it, but it's smart, right? I hate it because why would you only have a streaming-only game? It should be on NBC and also available to stream on Peacock. Because we are fans of the NFL. We, the blue-collar Americans of this country, built this league, invest in this league every single year, every week, every day of the football season. And you take one of the premier matchups and stuff it on Peacock because you know that everybody that follows Taylor Swift, that finds Travis Kelce, they're Swift fans. So if they're Swift fans, they think Travis Kelce's hotter than the sun and they want to jump his bones. And they're looking at every GQ spread in America. Oh, my God, Travis Kelce. Podcast numbers through the roof. Jersey sales through the roof. $20 million sponsorship from Pfizer. Are you kidding me right now? This guy is killing it. And the NFL said, yep, that's our stream game. You bloody geniuses, you. Good for you. Because that's exactly what they did. They got exactly what they wanted to, and they will, too. That number will break every streaming record of any event ever streamed in the history of streams. And I don't need another subscription. That's Ryan and Ben. I'm Anthony. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Save big on fuel with M Perks. Earn points on your Meijer purchases in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save up to $1 off per gallon of gas at Meijer. Claim your M Perks fuel rewards in the Meijer app and ID at the pump to save. Plus, earn points for qualifying Meijer Express purchases and look for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more. 10 cents to $1 off per gallon based on points earned. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons.
Fish On, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th.
At the Suburban Collection Showplace with over 7 acres of the newest fishing tackle, fishing boats, and fishing trips. Take it from fishing pro Mark Zona.
This is the largest pure fishing show in the country.
It's the Fishing Boat Show. Buy from dealers who know how to rig 'em right.
Shop fishing tackle only available once a year. Seminars on 5 stages.
Meet guides and lodge owners. The Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit, January 11th through 14th at the Suburban Collection Showplace.
Whoa, put that one in the box.
Huge here with a reminder that I'll be broadcasting live for the Suburban Collection Showplace in Detroit for the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit. I'll be there Friday 3 until 6, statewide broadcast. Lomas Brown will be at the Impact Power Sports booth where you can register to win Lomas's Lions golf cart. It's this Thursday through Sunday, the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit at the Suburban Collection Showplace in Novi. Look for the huge show in Lomas Brown there Friday starting at 2 p.m.
Welcome to the Drew World Order. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino. There's a party on this hill. Same show, the soulful bad boy of R&B, Genuine. Ride the pony for a two-stepping good time. Tickets start at $45 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Genuine. Drew Hill, Friday, January 26th at Soaring Eagle Casino.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.